you're saying to yourself, well, why don't I just buy roasted nuts to save myself the trouble? And aside from the phytic acid component, there are some other reasons to do it yourself if you can. One of them is the fact that you'll be able to control how you're roasting them. So very often if you buy roasted nuts, there's an oil involved, and it may not be a healthy oil that they use to facilitate the process. So if you do go and buy them, try to get dry roasted. Another issue is the temperature. They want to make these nuts fast so they can keep making more of them and make more money. But actually, then the fat starts to denature a little bit because that means you have to do it at a higher temperature. So you could do them for just, a couple hours in your oven at 400, but that wouldn't be as healthy an option. If you did it longer at something like 200, and again, I'm not saying the exact amount of time because obviously how big your batch would affect that in your oven. You would have to pay attention to it, when you first start doing it, how your oven works. But if you do that over time, say overnight again, or however many hours that, works for you for your batch, then you've achieved the same result but retains the healthy fat profile that is in them. And that's where we get into what nuts and seeds you want to use. So what they say, kind of like the king of nuts, so to speak, the healthier the nuts, the more expensive they are in practical terms. So of course we do understand that, but I'm just going to tell you what they are, and you do the best you can. Macadamia nuts are amongst the healthiest of nuts. The only one that is more healthy is the peely nut, and that's not widely available yet here. I think I've seen one company have it, and they're often out of stock, and the other company that has it doesn't have it. So it's nice if you can get it, but not to be relied upon. And that's where you get into sometimes, when you make compromises of what you can do. With macadamia nuts, they're pretty expensive. If I was going to go and buy them, you really don't need to be stoked, not really having the phytic acid to have this.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you find that it's necessary that the nuts be marked non-GMO?
For nuts?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, because what is GMO? GMO is when the scientists took the seeds of the plants into the laboratory and changed the genetics in order to grow more plants, to have more, to have the bugs not eat the plants and this and that. And so they found that a lot of the autoimmune diseases in today's world are coming through the GMOs.
Right. Yeah, I never really heard that nuts and seeds were amongst that. Usually it's the soybeans, it's corn, it's beets. Those are the big ones. The regular nuts and seeds, I haven't ever really heard that's an issue.
I've been noticing lately that there are a lot of packages having that marking. That's
marketing, sweetie. Because people know that GMO is a buzzword. Everything in Untitled is getting labeled. Oh, but we're not GMO because, of course, it's easy for them to get that label because they weren't going to anyway. That's just people just feeling lost in the comfort of a label, that a mark that I know, and people, the company's just taking advantage of that. It's really moot on many of these products.
No, I looked at, for example, onions. Onions are very cheap to produce and cheap to sell. They can't charge a lot of money for it. So organic or not, it doesn't pay for them to take that to a laboratory and produce it a non-GMO or GMO, one way or the other, because it's such a cheap item. You know what I'm saying? But nuts, I've noticed the prices have been going nuts, if you know what I mean.
Because they know people want them. More and more people are incorporating them into their diet, and they're just taking advantage of that.
Yeah, simply. Because if you look up, you can go to the search bars and put in the health benefits of, and it could, Brazil nuts are very high in selenium. So, and selenium is a very necessary nutrient, whereas people get older, their body produces less, and it's more important to supplement on it. But besides that, also foods these days don't have the ground. Remember in the Torah, it always says that the ground should rest every 7 years. Well, the problem,
they're not putting nutrients in the soil like they used to, and so things you look up, it has XYZ vitamin, whatever. Even if it was a clean item, a non-GMO item, and all that, They don't have the proportion of nutrients that they used to. That's true. And then people don't have the gut biomes to extract those nutrients.
Right.
properly.
So supplements are very necessary in today's world. Used to be that only the fanatics, took
I'm going
vitamins.
to ask you to go into all of that when I finish my piece, please.
Sure.
Just because I'm a little under today.
Yeah, no, I wanted some feedback. That's why I did that.
Right, no, so for sure. I know. So that's my answer. Is to the best of my knowledge, it's not relevant for nuts and seeds.
Excellent.
I have heard something to the effect of that organic does matter to some greater extent with almonds and walnuts. And I'm actually so sure about the almonds, but the walnuts. But you do the best you can. Nuts are expensive.
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah.
And then organic walnuts are not widely available, and that would really be a specialty thing. Regular walnuts are. I myself get walnuts and pecans raw from Costco in these big, economy bags, and that works very well. I was going to say with regards to macadamia nuts, yeah, it would be ideal if I roasted them. I got them raw too, but I don't have a cost-effective way of getting raw macadamia nuts. So
I order online. Much cheaper.
Right.
There's a question here on the bottom screen.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, sweetie.
No, I don't see that one's come up in my chat. I don't see a question.
Did you have a question? Anybody has a question? No. Okay, continue.
Alrighty, thank you. So now we're just going to give a little bit of a rundown of the nuts not all being created equal, which doesn't mean you can't ever eat them. You just want to watch your proportions on them. So for myself, for example, for my family, when I do make the granola, I do a high proportion of the walnuts, of the pecans. I kind of hand put in the hazelnuts and the macadamia nuts. And then I have some sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. For anyone who does have Costco membership, they actually finally got a hefter on their sprouted pumpkin seeds. So you don't even have to do this whole process I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I also have pumpkin flour. It's phenomenal. So a little tip there.
Nice.
I'm just looking for stuff like that, especially for people who are nut free. That's really fabulous because it's kind of like using almond flour, but without using a nut.
Exactly.
So, yeah, again, the same principle of flexibility applies here because you can put whatever flavoring you want.
Mm-hmm.
Each child can put whatever flavor you want. This one wants cinnamon. This one wants nutmeg. This one wants bone broth. Whatever. It doesn't matter because you don't have to worry about running out of one flavor and this one arguing, there's that one's turn. Whatever. Each child can really do what they want. You have such flexibility. Even though you do have to cook in advance, when you're actually serving it, you don't. So it's so quick and easy, and a mature, younger child can assist with that. And my oldest, I'm speaking from experience because my oldest does help these things for sure. So I know that it's possible. And again, you can savory flavors.
Let me point out one thing, and that is if you eat healthy and you learn what to eat and not to eat, you can avoid medicines and doctors these days. Which is very important.
The only other thing I wanted to add about the granola before we move on to the third part of my presentation is the fact that if your children are smaller and younger, you may want to blend the nuts after roasting before serving them, and you should be fine. I used to do that with my kids when they were a little smaller, and that way I didn't have to worry about a choking hazard. So if that is a matter of concern, you could just blend them after you roast them. The pieces will be smaller. I would just say that I would store it then in the fridge with like a paper towel to absorb the excess moisture. That's one of my tricks that I do a lot. A lot of these healthy kinds of foods tend to sweat in the fridge. Now, some people do manage to keep it on the counter in an airtight container, but I'm always afraid to do stuff like that because I cook and bake so much and my kitchen gets so hot. And hopefully, as we spoke before with nuts and so on, you're not supposed to get hot. So I always worry about stuff like that, but that's maybe just me. I don't have any official whatever for that, and so I just keep it in my fridge.
I have a question. Your presentation is supposed to take how long?
Well, I'm just sort of aiming to be done by 8 o'clock, as we had discussed earlier. Just this time, and possibly next time.
You wanted to take the whole hour.
No, you were going to speak after, remember?
Yeah, I know, but a whole 1 hour for the whole class. That's the thing. Can you save the other?
we had discussed that I was going to leave early. I have a commitment.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why, because I chew people's ear off for the Torah classes. So I try to keep the other classes a little shorter so it doesn't, being that the person is spending their whole life in front of the computer. But
I'll be sure.
so you're finishing up in another like 7 minutes.
I've got one more thing to discuss. Whenever that is.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, no,
exact.
I wasn't sure if I understood you correctly. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess there was a miscommunication. It happens. Anyway, the third thing I wanted to discuss was something, as you might have noticed, a lot of these things replace in people's mind. They always think, what will I have instead of what I always have? People, naturally tend to think like that. And so we had pudding, we had what would be replacing the cold cereal, with the nuts and beef granola. And so now we have the realm of so-called hot cereal, which I think is particularly useful this time of year. Now, this recipe is the same if you don't want to warm it up. If you need to melt something, you could always just do that over a low fire, add more of your milk or whatever, and it would be cooled off. And that's what we usually do in the summer when we want something cold and refreshing. But obviously, if this time of year you want something nice and hot, similar in texture to a hot cereal, then this could be something that'll help you out. So again, we start with the premise of using something that would be a substitute for what the something oatmeal-like in texture, but a healthier option. So something I have here, for example, is hemp seeds. Very often I'll also mix in some sliced tiger nuts. You can also put in some flaxseed meal. That will help be a binder. Some chia seeds if you prefer to do that. I'm going to use some flaxseed meal myself right now. And, again, the name of the game here is flexibility. You could add protein powder. You could amp this up as much as you want to keep it simple. And again, you do whatever flavors you want. You could just use a butter of some sort. So you could use a nut butter. You could use tahini. You do that a lot. To also add in nutrients and help with the texture. Or you could, something else I do a lot, which is to use a yogurt. Oh, here, I'll just very quickly show you guys how the chia seed pudding set up. So now being this pudding like texture. So now I'm just going to get out some of that yogurt. And again, if you want it as hot, you don't really need to cook it. It would just be about helping things come together and being nice and warm. So you're talking about a low flame on the fire, which, again, a mature older child can do for you if you don't want to be doing it, or it could just be served cold. I know I don't have to get this perfectly scraped out because one of my kids will be quite happy to do the job for me. So no worries on that one if you're panicking about that. And my tech support over here, like my right hand is yeah. So we love really. I'm checking this too hard this morning when I was mixing it. One of our favorite things to use, I want to talk to you about is tahini, but I mean a quality tahini, where it's not like watered down, which really kind of most of the time is what we see in the store. There are a couple different kinds, and what is the point of tahini? It's kind of an interesting thing. You say that like other seeds, it has a higher omega-6 profile, but this is the funny thing. When it's roasted, it's various natural chemicals, if you will, get activated, and they're kind of like antioxidants, and they offset it. So you don't have to be so scared of that. You can add just like a little bit of that.
No, and there's mega amounts of nutrients in sesame seeds.
Right. It's just really.
You can find it on Google. You put in the search bar the health benefits of sesame seed, and you'll find out.
I said you can lick it, silly. It's like, where should I put it? I know you're gonna lick all this stuff, right? Another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit when it comes to flavoring, regardless of what flavor we do, we like to add in some turmeric, and if it's going to be cold, some black pepper, because turmeric needs to be activated either by heat or black pepper. This is another good tahini. That's a quality tahini in case you want to.
Well, you said that turmeric is activated through heat?
Could be heat, could be black pepper.
Wow, no, I knew the black pepper.
I forget what the third thing is.
The black pepper I know, but I didn't know that heat activates it. I put that in my eggs every morning when I make omelet. No matter what, I put turmeric in there. And with certain other flavors like onions and garlic and whatever, makes the omelet taste amazing. And it's super mega healthy, turmeric.
But so the great thing about turmeric is it reduces inflammation.
Also,
and people have inflammation going on because of all the other things they're eating and their stress level and things like that. So it's actually one of those things that's just ideal for everybody to have every day. Like it's that powerful and useful a thing. And in general, what we eat is really like a natural chemical. And our body needs certain natural chemicals to function properly. And so if we give it all those foods, it really helps us to feel better and to, so we can perform our best and not have that unknown, reason for being cranky or whatever, just because the body feels deficient in something. And that's not something that can express very clearly. So one of the reasons that you see that I say, you could add this, you could add that, these are all nutritious foods because I really do believe in it. Every bite counts, everything has its place. We never say like something is a bad food if it's, a whole natural, healthy kind of thing. I'm not talking about processed foods, obviously. But some things are to be had in greater or lesser proportion, For example, I always say that we wash and have challah for Shabbos, and that's nice, but it's never said anywhere, you should be doing that every meal or even every day. So, yeah, everything has its place, but that doesn't mean that's the proportion of your diet that you want to be eating those carbs. And maybe another time we can do, an episode on sourdough if people are interested in learning about that and so forth.
You know what I did? I took like 6 months where every time I ate something, I went and looked up the health benefits of it. And because it's one thing to have what they say, we say in Spanish, antojo. The word is like a desire to eat a certain food. But, and usually it's because the body is requesting it because of a nutrient it needs. But, and
psychological. Let's be honest, some psychological too.
Dr. Bergman says, if man made it, don't eat it. In other words, that we have to be very careful with our consumption in today's world. But it can taste good. Onions, garlic, all that, you want to flavor it up. As a matter of fact, garlic happens to be a natural antibiotic.
So garlic in its best form is actually, the most, like you're saying, medicinal form, rather than just as a flavor, is best eaten raw and crushed and then wait 10 minutes. These people didn't know that. Because, yes, people sometimes know, oh, yeah, garlic, I'll eat my garlic, but they're cooking the garlic or, they didn't crush it or whatever. Crush it, 10 minutes. So do it while you're getting your meal together, so it'll be all set by the time you're done. And yeah, and it has a tremendous antiviral, antibacterial, all this good stuff.
You know what I did? I went to Walmart. I bought a little mini food processor, a baby one. I put cloves of garlic because they now sell in Walmart, you can find it, organic peeled garlic with a hechsher. So I would buy the whole container, cut it open, put it in the food processor with olive oil and salt. Turn it on, it makes a paste. That paste will last for months in your refrigerator, but usually I make just enough to use it for a day and that's it.
Right, so I'm not sure if medicinally would have the same effect as it would dissipate to something. I don't know. But,
no, it does. It does.
I think when it comes to, flavor, like if I get a batch of basil, I'll have the basil check, and then I'll do a similar thing. I'll put the garlic in it and, the oil and the jar in the fridge in it, so it will last. Yeah, so that can be very helpful. I just wanted to show everybody the texture here so we could see that it is very hot cereal-like. Obviously, you could take it down, make it more liquidy if you wanted to, and obviously you can heat it up. You can heat it up as you do it, heat it up after you put it together, however you like. if this kid likes it thicker or thinner, you can address accordingly by having, separate milk poured into their bowl. And again, the options are endless, and you can do it savory. Do a savory version too, just to change things up a bit. So I think that's I've now concluded what I prepared for today.
No, and I appreciate your part in this, and
well, thank you for inviting me. Appreciate
I'm
that.
learning stuff from you too, because everybody has a different, like, I guess you call it a science to health of food, and a lot of the things I wanted to cover were like preliminaries. In other words, for example, if it used to be in all these years we grew up in this world, if a person didn't feel well, they went to a doctor, and the doctor prescribed medicine, and even Bayer aspirin was safe at that time. But in today's world, first of all, the pharmaceutical companies are trying to cut off things like that cured COVID and everything because it was cheap. And there's all kinds of craziness going on in the world around us right now. And the doctors can be an orthodox doctor and have a heart of gold, but he's taught by the pharmaceuticals and by the medical industry. And therefore, we have to question a lot of their input into our lives in these days. And I wanted to point that out.
Say good night to everybody. Let you continue. Thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry that I do have to go.
No, may Hashem bless you and your home and your family with everything you want and everything you need, and especially perfect health now and forever.
Amen. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Rivka, it was so good. I want more.
Oh,
yeah, no, she's leaving, but we're not leaving.
I know. Bye,
So
Rivka.
please stay. Let's see. Oh. Shalom, shalom. I'm in a health class at the moment on YouTube and Zoom. You're welcome to listen, or I can call you back when I get done.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Side the bench. Okay, so let's get started here. I have a whole agenda. So, what is the need for organics in today's world? Used to be years ago, only the health fanatics were going organic and vitamins and this and this and this, and you just ate normal food and you were fine. But in the world we live in right now, there's a chemical company that is being sued. They just bought Bayer aspirin. It's called Monsanto. There are mega amounts of lawsuits going on in California against them. They made a product that was made. They approved it through the government as an antibiotic, and it wasn't for that purpose it was made. It was supposed to be made to kill the bugs off the plants. So most farmers and everything in the United States right now use it. It's called Roundup Ready. Now, what's the problem with that? That stuff evaporates into the air, and they even found it in milking mothers that give milk to their babies from their body. They found Roundup Ready, or glyphosate is the chemical name for it, in the milk from the mother. Now, what's the problem with that stuff? The problem is it's a mineral chelator. What is a mineral chelator? A mineral chelator means that it removes minerals from the body. Why is this important? Because the body cannot absorb vitamins without minerals. Therefore, even if you go like to koshervitamins.com and wherever you go looking for multivitamins these days, the label says vitamins and minerals. We never saw that before, but now they know what's going on, and they include and minerals, because there are people in this world that look fat as a horse and they're dying of hunger. because the body is not absorbing any of the vitamins from the food because they don't have minerals. So which vitamins are vitamins and which are minerals? If you go onto a search in a browser on the internet and put in, uh, I would like a list of minerals, and then you write in on a separate thing a list of vitamins, and you can print it from the screen and you will know which is what. And then from there, if you don't want to do supplements, you can ask again to the browser, what foods have this vitamin or what foods have this mineral? And then you can load up. Now, the other problem with food these days is that years ago, people acknowledged that the Bible, the Torah, the Tanakh, said that every 7 years the farmer was to rest his land. And by the land resting for a year, it would accumulate all the nutrients. So when the farmer went to plant again, the foods had the normal level of nutrients. In today's world, they don't give no breaks to nothing. And therefore, most of the foods we buy in the supermarket, organic or not, don't even have 50% of the nutrients they used to have. Therefore, between the chelator of the minerals and the lack of vitamins in the food, it is very important to take supplements in today's world and to make sure where you're getting them from. I know in Baltimore, they have a place called Mom's, and I had visited that. We went to go visit Baltimore for the Jewish holidays that just passed, and the lady we were staying by took us to a place called Mom's. It's an organic store and everything, and they had a whole mega shelves of supplements that were also organics and natural and pure and not not monkeyed with, as we say. So it's very important to read not only labels about being kosher or not these days, but we have to read labels that we're not consuming kosher poison. They put kosher labels on poison these days. Oy vey. What are we going to do with that? And please, I love questions, comments, anything. Interrupt me anytime, please. I love it. Okay. I believe in interaction. I don't like I teach and you listen and that's it. No. Okay. So, going on. Maimonides, who was a very, very, very high-level Orthodox Jew, said, let thy food be thy medicine. God Hashem created food that heals everything depending on what food it is. And even the universities in today's world are picking up on that. Thank God. I wanted to also mention, before we go away from why organics, is that food that is GMO or genetically modified organisms. Do you all know what GMOs are, or should I explain what that is? I'm sorry?
I think I have a basic understanding.
Okay.
They're modifying the DNA, or they're modifying the product to, one thing is to grow rounder or brighter red, like heirloom tomatoes. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not sweet, but they modified tomatoes to taste sweeter. So that's my.
Well, when it benefits us in some way, that's good. But the problem with the GMOs is they are causing, and this is statistics, even in the medical, it's called PubMed online, where they have a lot of medical information. And they're saying that the GMOs, God forbid, can cause autoimmune diseases. So this is another reason why we need to look for organics. Hopefully these people are honest about the stuff being organic, but at least we have half a chance, But a GMO, genetically modified organism, is that the seed of the plant was taken into a laboratory. They genetically changed it so that the plant would grow more plants, so they have a bigger harvest, so that the plant would warn. And as a matter of fact, they've proven already that it may, when the bugs eat the plants, the intestinal system, the inside of the bugs, explodes. And yeah, and numerous other things. I'm sure if you look up online, you can find a lot of other information. But so we have to be very careful um, for GMOs. Second, um, GMOs, like I said, can cause, because it's man-made and not God-made anymore. If Hashem created the body to consume what is God-made. And so the healthier, the more natural that we can stay, the safer we are. I'm very, very careful reading labels these days because uh, they're putting all kind. If it's kosher, they put it in there, and they don't care about people's health. So on top of being kosher, now we have to know what's in there. And many times in the supermarket, I take my cell phone and I find something on the label that I have no idea what that is. And I'll type it into my cell phone and ask for a definition or what is this? You know what I'm saying? In order to know what I'm buying. Oh my goodness, you know? So this is another heads up, wake up call that we need to know. Going on. So, vitamins need minerals, as we said, in order for the body to absorb. I was on the phone with a friend of mine before the class, and she wasn't feeling well this morning, and she took some mega doses of vitamin C. In the world we're living in right now, vitamin C is not an option, it's a mandatory situation. And people are like, well, maybe I should take 50 or 100 milligrams. I take 2,000 milligrams minimum vitamin C daily. Plus, I take a multivitamin. Why? Because in vitamins, the body needs certain vitamins for the other vitamins to work. It's like a chain reaction. And if we're missing something, we don't get the full value of what we took. Therefore, yes, vitamin C is one of the most important vitamins to maintain immunity. And the quality is very important. So, if you need to know better, I take something called liposomal vitamin C. Each pill is 1,600 milligrams. Right now, I take one in the morning, one at night. Plus D3. I take, everybody knows Maxi, right? I take Maxi vitamin, 5,000 milligram D3, two of them in the morning. Okay? And the thing that you need to know is that things that are supplements are not chemicals and they will not harm you. But it's very important to know which vitamins are water soluble and which vitamins are oil soluble. Water soluble, like vitamin C, if you take too much, when you take a vitamin C, let's say right now, whatever the body didn't need, it comes out in the liquid in the bathroom. But it doesn't reserve any vitamin C for later. Vitamin C is I take it, it uses it, and that's it, it's gone. So it's very important to take it more than once a day and to break down the dosage so that you get more out of it. Plus, it's a very big protectant of what I call the cooties, the COVID cooties, okay? Because the when you have your immune system is strong, it can ward off a lot of things a lot easier. So D3C and zinc, ZINC. If you look in the multivitamin, if zinc is in the multi, then you're good with that. You don't have to take extra. Okay? Very important to know which are water soluble and which are oil soluble. Oil soluble, yes, can reserve in the body. So we have to be careful that we don't overdo it with the oil soluble vitamins. Okay? Going on. Yeah, we did the kosher poison one. Iodine. Iodine is a very, very important thing in today's world. One of the biggest blessings of over there in Baltimore was that in this store, Mom's, I found seaweed that's kosher. Seaweed takes getting a little used to the flavor, but they also make supplements that are iodine supplements. In fact, I have a potassium supplement that has iodine in it. So, however you want to get the iodine, the most important is that we get it on an everyday basis. Yeah, they came out in the secular world with this garbage about salt and don't have too much salt, and salt is, God forbid, bad for a person. But salt and potassium have to be balanced in the body in order for the body not to retain water. The people that get swollen or that don't go to the bathroom as much as they drink, um, that could be why, because they are low on potassium. Look on YouTube and put in deficiency of potassium. And look, these videos are very short. They're 5 or 10 minute videos, but they will give you a heads up because potassium is a very important nutrient. Yes, bananas have it, but if you're not big on bananas, and remember, maybe the bananas don't have as much as they should because of the world around us today, uh, a supplement will work. Iodine, I found if you eat a sheet or two of the seaweed stuff, you're good. And I got used to the taste. Mom's over there in Baltimore has it. That's what it looks like. And it's about $1 or $1.50. It's nothing that breaks the bank. And it's a little on the salty side, but it definitely is worth getting used to. Pop a couple sheets in your mouth daily and you're good. Yes.
What about wheatgrass?
I've heard a lot of positive things about it, but I've not. I would find out what nutrients are in it and then see what other things have the same nutrients. That way, maybe you have something in the house that you don't have to go out and buy another something or start dealing with more stuff. Because my house looks like a natural pharmacy. Everywhere you look, I have supplements, and the closet's full of them too. But I don't take mega amounts of supplements daily. But I find out what is needed for what, and I try to. Well, like vitamin C, I told you it's a daily issue. Right now, with COVID out there, C is not optional; it's mandatory. D3 is mandatory. The multi with them is mandatory. I highly recommend the multi in the morning and the D3 in the morning so that you sleep well. Magnesium, if you take magnesium before you go to bed, if you have any trouble sleeping, it will lullaby you right to bed. Magnesium is excellent for sleep. Okay? So that's, before you go to bed. And then they have other natural substances for sleep. There's Right. John's wort, and there's you'll call me in a daytime and I'll be able to tell you. When it gets in the evening, I start to slow down in the memory section of the mind. But it's all good. One thing else I wanted to touch on: garlic, natural, fresh garlic cloves. Like I was telling her before, take them, put them in a little baby food processor. They're about $10 in Walmart. You can probably even order it online if you don't want to go to Walmart. And you put them with olive oil and salt, and make sure your oil is non-GMO these days. Yeah. And salt, and you turn it into a paste. With that paste, you can put a couple tablespoons of the paste in a bowl with some mayonnaise and a little bit of water, and then you can put oregano. Oregano leaves are also a natural antibiotic. So you can make an Italian salad dressing with some oregano leaves, the garlic paste, a couple tablespoons of mayonnaise, and a little bit of water.
What happened? I've seen some people will freeze it and put it in ice cubes.
I wouldn't
Will that-
do that. It's
Will that
better.
take away?
I would just make a paste out of all that I have, put it with the salt and the oil, stick it in a plastic container. It'll last in your fridge for months. And you know what else I do? When I'm finished making the garlic, before I would clean the processor, I take cilantro. You've ever heard of cilantro? Cilantro is a detoxer. You know, in this world we live in, there's aluminums and all kinds of metals that got into the body. We have fluoride in the water. There's all kinds of poisons around us. Cilantro is a detoxer. It will take toxins out of the body through the urine. So it's definite. What I do is I take whatever cilantro I buy in the store and smell it, because if it doesn't have a good strong smell and it's old, it's worth nothing. Okay? So you grab it and you break off a little leaf and you smell it to see if it's fresh. If it's fresh, you put it in that little food processor where you left the residue from the garlic and the oil and the salt, and you put that in there with some oil and salt and a few more cloves of garlic, and you make a secondary paste. That also will last for months in the refrigerator. And you can take spoons of it out to make, if you're going to cook meat, if you're going to cook vegetables, you cut up some onions and oil and you throw some spoons of that in there, and you've got amazing tasting food. I also put turmeric in almost everything, especially like the oil where the garlic and the onions are. I put turmeric in there. Look up turmeric online, the health benefits of turmeric. In fact, give me a second. Hey Google, the health benefits of turmeric.
On the website healthline.com, they say, turmeric, and especially its most active compound, curcumin, have many scientifically proven health benefits, such as the potential to improve heart health and prevent against Alzheimer's and cancer. It's a potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. To find out more, look for the link in your Google Home or Google Assistant app.
There you go. And that's just a quick summary, okay? Or like she was talking about, hey Google, the health benefits of sesame seeds.
I found a list on the website healthline.com. Here are 15 health benefits of sesame seeds. Here are the first 5. Good source of fiber. May lower cholesterol and triglycerides. Nutritious source of plant protein. May help lower blood pressure. And may support healthy bones. Want me to tell you more?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, here's 3 more. May reduce inflammation. Good source of B vitamins.
Wow.
And may aid blood cell formation. By the way, If you want to see the whole list, you can check out the link I just sent to your phone.
Thank you. So, like I said, and now my son bought me that for Mother's Day quite a few years ago. And I can ask about the weather, and I don't even have to look things up anymore, Baruch Hashem. you know. Um, but yes, it's important to know what you're doing. Oils is what I wanted to touch on to end up the class, because I could go on and on and on. I've been studying now for quite a few years. I'm available by phone. If you guys have any questions, please call me. My pleasure to answer any questions. If you want my phone number, I'll give it to you. You want to write my number? I'm going to give you two numbers. Mine is 917-374-2374. If for any reason I don't answer, my husband is 845, because we're always together, 845-608-5396. And he always answers. And if for any reason we both didn't answer, just hang up, wait 2 seconds, and call back again. Because if the phone's far away, by the time we get there, it hangs up. Oy, oy, oy. What are we going to do? But in any case, we're here to help. Our lives are to serve the Almighty and to be a beneficial presence to everybody in any way we can. And I invite you to our Torah classes. I have a channel on YouTube called Yiska Levinson, Yischah Levinson. And we have over 260 Torah videos uploaded there. And now we're going to be uploading all these health classes there as well. So if you should need anything, that's where to look it up if you want to repass on something. Okay? So what's with oils? Where does oil come from? Well, we know that like almond oil, they squeeze almonds for. And talking about corn oil, Mazola, we grew up on that stuff. I call that car oil. Mazola belongs inside the car, not in a person. Okay? That's some critically oily stuff to use for cooking. What we need to use in today's world is olive oil, and it needs to say non-GMO. And not only olive, because they say that olive oil in high heats can denature. So what you do is you put a little bit of avocado oil in the pan first, and then you can add olive oil to it, and it will not denature. Or you can use avocado oil by itself. Yes, Walmart sells it at a very good price. So it's very important to put the right things in our body so we don't need the medical industry and especially the pharmaceuticals. These days, think about it, I'll be right there. These days, the pharmaceuticals make things to make people sick because they make more money if a person has to live on their stuff, that they don't benefit from healing people anymore. If a person gets healed, they don't need their medicines anymore. So what they're doing is oil. Okay. You had a question?
Oh, I have a comment and a question. Do the comment first. You're talking about the pharmaceutical. There's a show called Dope Sick. It's about oxycodone, and it takes you through the whole process of how the FDA approved it, the backroom deals that were happening, and it just ruined people's lives. But the FDA kept approving it. So there's truth behind that. Second thing is, so Hanukkah's coming up. I like using canola oil because I can still taste the latkes. When I use olive oil, it's like it takes away. It's like a heavier. I don't know.
Have
Takes
you
away.
ever tried avocado oil?
No, but all I can think is avocado tasting like avocados and not my latkes.
No, no,
No,
no.
it's good.
Has no taste.
Okay, I'll try that then.
As a matter of fact, if you would ask me, I would tell you that if you have the right products, okay, which means non-GMOs, it doesn't have to be expensive. In Walmart, they have a huge container of olive oil, non-GMO, kosher, and it's like, I think $9 or $10 for the big thing. So it's not that it has to be expensive, but that it's kosher and non-GMO. Now, if you mix the olive oil with the avocado oil, it shouldn't give you any taste at all. But what I would do if I were you is drop some garlic in there. Some, the paste we were just talking about, or even some of the garlic paste with the cilantro in the oil before you start frying. And you're going to get a better taste altogether. Because what happens is if we don't work with flavor and taste, then it takes on whatever it wants. But if you put a flavor, you're going to see, or even that you fry them up, the latkes, and then pour a little garlic and garlic oil stuff on top. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. And you're consuming natural antibiotic. Good for the immune system. Yeah, no, and you can make salad dressings and all kind of stuff. Those pastes that I'm telling you about, you can get very creative with them. And then when you want to cook, you don't have to start cutting up this and fixing, it's a lot of job. No, you take the container, spoon it out, throw it into the pot, you're ready to go. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to save you time also. It's healthier and it saves a lot of time. I was showing a lady the other day that, these little 7-ounce plastic cups that you buy in the store? I fill them up with bottled water, and I have a shelf in my freezer that I have all cups. So because I like ice a lot, yeah? So when I'm going to drink something that I want ice in, I run it under some water a little bit to loosen it from the cup, pops right out of the plastic, goes into the cup, and that ice block will last for hours. So you don't, because you put some ice in a very short while, there's no ice already, it's like, give me a break. So this is a way to override that one as well. Thought I would share that because somebody said, wow, what an ingenious idea. So I never thought about it one way or another. I always do that, But this is the first health class. Hopefully we're going to get into more and more important things to learn. And I've been learning, like I said, 3-4 years now intensely. Besides Torah, which is over 30-something years. And most women, they spend maybe a half hour, an hour. I spend entire days. So we have a lot to share, But in any case, I very much appreciate both of you in here. Does anybody have any questions or comments left to go? Yeah, I think I passed my limits here. So unless everybody has more koach to continue on, then we'll make the classes a little longer next time. Please put your vote in and let me know. And we appreciate your presence. We'll be back next Sunday night, same time, same station, Sunday at noon in Baltimore or East Coast. My husband comes in on the Zoom and on a conference center, and he teaches Hasidus, which is the Tanya from Chabad. And then I come in an hour later and I teach for at least an hour or something. All of our Sunday classes are recorded. Tomorrow is Monday. My husband will come in with a class on the Gemara at 5 o'clock East. No, not 5. What time is your class tomorrow? 6:30. My husband's class will be 6:30 tomorrow Eastern Standard Time for an hour, and then I come in an hour later. Now all my classes are recorded on YouTube Live, but only the Sunday class is recorded with my husband. So and Tuesday night we have Parsha of Torah at 8:30 Eastern Time, and Thursday night we have Halacha on Thursday night at 8:30. So we'll see you, God willing, tomorrow at 5 or 6. No, oh yeah, I keep getting the old time in my head. 6:30, right? 6:30 for Monday and Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time. Now we got it. I wish you all well. Please come back again. And may Hashem keep you happy and healthy, you and your families. May have everything you want and everything you need, now and forever. And may all your prayers get answered. Nice to meet you. I wish you only goodness and blessing. Shalom, shalom. Oh, there's that. Now, and now. Okay. YouTube, thank you for coming in. Hope you enjoyed the class. So the beginning of the class was they had made up with a nice lady named Rivka, who is a family member, who is also pretty well studied in health. And this is our first class of trying to do that. So it wasn't 100% organized yet. But with the help of the Almighty, we'll get this going and get it functioning better. And we wish you all the best. And I hope next week Bobby Miriam will feel better to come into the class. Please, everybody, dive in for her. Husby, please call the OHEL for Bobby Miriam to feel better, okay? Zygabench. I'm sorry?